We use it every single day, right? But have you ever really, truly stopped to think about what money is? I'm not talking about the paper or the coins in your pocket, but the idea of money. So let's dive in because it turns out money is one of the most powerful and important inventions in all of human history. To really wrap our heads around this, let's just try a little thought experiment. Just for a second, what if money just didn't exist? Poof, gone. Now, imagine you're a baker and you desperately need a new pair of shoes. How do you even get them? Well, you'd be stuck in what's called a barter system. And this is where you run into a huge, massive problem. You'd have to find a shoemaker who not only makes shoes in your size, but who also just so happens to be hungry for the exact amount of bread you're willing to trade. It's called the double coincidence of wants, and honestly, it's a total nightmare. It's incredibly inefficient. Society needed a much, much better way, some kind of universal go-between. And that, right there, is where money becomes the hero of the story. It's this elegant solution to that whole barter mess. And here's the crazy part. It all works because money performs just three essential jobs. Yep, that's it. Just three. When you boil it all down, our entire incredibly complex global economy, all of it, rests on money doing just three simple things really, really well. So let's break them down. First, and this is the big one, money is a medium of exchange. It's that go-between, you know? It's the thing that everyone in a society agrees to accept as payment. So you can give the shoemaker money and he can then turn around and use that same money to buy whatever he wants. Milk, a new hammer, anything.
And boom, just like that, the double coincidence of wants problem is solved. It's gone. No more running around trying to find that one perfect person to trade with. Money makes trade easy, fluid, and it lets us do it on a massive scale.
Okay, so on to job number 2. Money has to be a unit of account. Now that sounds a little academic, I know, but just think of it like a universal measuring stick for value. Instead of saying shoes are worth 20 loaves of bread and a shirt is worth 10, we just use a common standard, like dollars. And this is a total game changer for an economy. It makes everything so much more efficient. By having one standard way to measure value, we can instantly compare things. It dramatically cuts down on what economists call transaction costs, all that wasted time and energy just trying to figure out what stuff is worth. And finally, we get to job number 3. Money has to be a store of value. This is so important. It just means that you can save it today and be pretty confident that you can spend it tomorrow or next week or even next year, and it'll still hold its value. I mean, this is absolutely critical, right? You can't save your wealth in the form of, say, fish or bananas. They're going to spoil. Money solves this. It's durable. It allows us to move value not just between people, but across time itself. All right, so those are the 3 core jobs. And what's so fascinating is that those jobs haven't changed for thousands of years. But what has changed, and changed dramatically, is the form that money takes. You know, if you look at the whole arc of history, there's one clear trend. Money is always becoming more and more abstract. We've steadily moved from using actual physical stuff to using pure representations of value. Think about it. In ancient times, we used commodity money, things that were useful in their own right, like grain or cattle or even salt. Then, around 600 BC, we got a bit more sophisticated and moved to precious metals, gold, silver. Much easier to carry around than a cow, right? And today? Well, for most of us, money isn't a physical thing at all. It's just an electronic record, ones and zeros on a bank's computer. And that, right there, is the single most important takeaway. The form of money is always changing, but its functions, they endure. It doesn't matter if it's a cow, a gold coin, or a string of digital code. As long as something can act as a medium of exchange, a unit of account, and a store of value, it can be money. Which leaves us all with a pretty fascinating, mind-bending question. We've gone from physical objects to pure information. So, as money becomes even more abstract, what's next? What comes after the numbers on the screen? And how will that change the way we all live? Definitely something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me.